Good afternoon, YouTube. Not usually out this time of the day, but I didn't get up early enough to get my garden tour done before breakfast, so I'm going to do it now. Got my water. I'm going to stay hydrated during this because it is 91 degrees outside, though there's a good breeze, so it feels good out here. And here we go. Keeping track of what number week it is as far as the growing season goes. But we've been gardening, working in the garden, doing this vlog since like March. So it's been a couple of months. It's changed so much. It's pretty cool actually. There's a lot that's changed, as you can see already behind me. I pulled the corn out. Now it wasn't a huge failure because we learned a lot. But as far as having a harvest, we really did not get a whole lot. I had picked a couple of ears of corn that were maybe like a quarter of the size that it normally is out of the sweet corn, and they were delicious, but that's about all we got. Other than that, we learned a lot for next year. Alright, so I really liked growing corn. It grew really fast. It was really fun to watch. It was beautiful. Definitely going to grow it again, but next year I'm going to stick to one variety. I'm going to grow some kind of sweet corn. I haven't decided yet. I want to look up a kind that does particularly well in the south. Because we're in North Carolina. I think our zone is 8B or something like that. Yeah, one variety of sweet corn. I'm going to space it out better. And I'm going to amend the soil before I even put it in. I'm going to give it a lot of compost before I even put it in. Even if I have to buy some, I'm going to do it. But we have a new production system for compost out there. The first big change is that the corn is out. We actually are, my husband's going to save it and use it for a blind for hunting this season. And this is a couple cantaloupe plants. I definitely want to grow this differently. This was kind of an afterthought. I want to put it up on a trellis and let them hang down because I think it'd be easier to maintain this plant, though I really have not had to do a whole lot. There has been some Asian beetles on here eating it, but I've been able to keep it under control for the most part. And I'll show you this. We have, it's not huge, but I think this is going to be ready to harvest soon. And then this other one, just a little bit bigger. Put cardboard under it in hopes to keep the bugs away. And I think it's been working. I haven't seen any more fruit develop on the vine. I haven't seen any signs of vine borers on this. I don't know if this is close enough of a relative to the squash plant to attract the vine borer, though they are supposed to be related. My sweet potato vines are starting to look like they're dying back. Just a little bit. I think they've got a couple weeks to go before they're supposed to be ready to harvest. So I'm really excited about that because that was kind of an afterthought too. Somebody posted on Facebook Marketplace that they had some sweet potato slips. They were selling like a bundle of 25 of them for $5. I don't know if that's a good deal or not, but I got them, stuck them in the ground just a little bit, and they grew, and it'll be pretty cool if it works because those are super low maintenance. And then when those come out, I'm going to put some sort of root vegetable in there. I haven't decided. That's where I planted my onion seed. And as you can see, grass is growing in it. I need to make a point to waking up early enough in the morning to weed it out real good. Give it one good weeding, and then the rest of the weeding, it won't be as much work. That really needs to get done before the baby gets here. And these are my tomatoes. The garden is only about half full right now. So I've got two varieties of tomatoes like I've mentioned before. One is a beefsteak, that's what this is. That one's got spots all over that one tomato. I think those are aphids. Oh no, I know what that is. Some of them are turning red. I think I made kind of a big mistake with the garden. I heard that neem oil and BT are good for pest control and fungal problems. So what I did last night was I sprayed everything with neem oil, and I didn't realize you're supposed to dilute it. So it looks like there's a little bit of a sign of stress from it so far. I really didn't spray that heavily, but it'll be a lesson learned if anything bad happens to it. It doesn't look like it killed anything right away, and I did it at night because they said you don't want to do it in the morning when it doesn't have a chance to really soak in and then get evaporated away before the sun hits it, and then it can burn the plants. But that's just with the sun. I think it's a strong enough chemical that the chemical itself burns the plant too. So we'll see. That might have been a big problem. I'll show you a little closer up what I'm talking about. See those little spots on that tomato and all over? Yeah. This video I made, we had not had very much hornworm damage, and then literally the next day after I posted a video saying we haven't had a lot of hornworm damage, I found a bunch of pretty good sized ones on the plants. But I haven't seen a whole lot since then, so that's good. They're really hard to see. Picking these guys in a couple of days. The temperature's been getting up to the low 90s for the past week or two, and I've been noticing that the tomatoes are starting to show a little bit of stress from that. That's normal though, I think. I'm not really worried about it. I think though these tomatoes will probably have a couple more weeks to go before they start to show really bad signs of stress with this heat, even though they're mulched and I water every couple of days, or it rains every couple of days. But hopefully they'll ripen at least the fruit that they have on them. I don't expect them to ripen the fruit that's not yet, or the flowers that aren't yet set fruit by the time they're done, but we'll see. I'm just noticing now that I gotta go through here and prune a little bit, but I don't want to do it right now. I don't want to be outside too long. They're getting pretty tall. All my sunflowers are leaning over. I just dusted it with diatomaceous earth too, which may have been a mistake to try to do the neem and the diatomaceous earth at the same time, but I guess I will learn if it is a bad thing. It will show it to me. This is my cucumber plant. Starting to get some sort of disease. These little spots here, if it'll focus. It's got diatomaceous earth on it too, so it's kind of hard to tell. But I've been trying to pull the leaves off as they get these spots on them, and that seems to be helping. Hasn't set any fruit yet on this cucumber. I think I may have planted this too soon. I should have waited a couple of weeks so that it would germinate well, grow up well, and then not set fruit until it wasn't in the 90s every day anymore. Around the corner, I'm using this welded wire to support the greenhouse a little bit for when it gets windy. These are my pole beans. They finally are starting to get big and beautiful. Taking over some of the sunflowers too. Now this couple hasn't really done a whole lot of production for me, other than just looking beautiful. And then these are all over everything. Stinking stink bugs. Poking holes in my tomatoes. Some more sunflowers and green beans. I saw one green bean that was ready to be picked. I might snack on that while I walk around. These are my burgundy beans. Royal burgundy beans. I also sprayed these with the neem oil, but I'm not really sure that that matters on these. They look okay. Or they look at least as fine as they did before I sprayed. And the Kentucky pole beans did not take as well. I think like maybe 30 to 25% of them did not sprout. Oh, well, maybe more than that actually. More like 50%, because I planted them in between those two posts and the other two, and none of those came up, or at least they got eaten up right after they did. Next to the beans, I've got my Malabar spinach that's starting to make a name for itself, isn't it? These are my pepper plants. Oh my. Yeah, crazy looking spider. I am not getting close enough to that thing to show you. That is weird looking. So my cayenne peppers have kind of stopped producing. I was getting like a couple of them every day. So I don't know what's going on with that. I fertilize every week too, so maybe I just planted these all too close together. I might try to space them out a little better next time. But the bell peppers started to set fruit. There's a couple on there. I harvested my first one the other day. It didn't get very big, but I watched it for like a week and it stayed the same size for that long. So I think maybe I was impatient, but I might keep these on a little bit longer if the same thing happens to them. My cousin actually told me that it could be that I'm watering them too often and that he will plant or dig down deeply when he plants his pepper plants and put a fish underneath it. So I think I might try that next year. Not a huge fish, but I think that was kind of interesting. Let's see, under these, I may have let this get too dry. No, it's still wet. I don't see any germination though. This is where I planted the carrots. I'll put this back on top. Cover it up. Sorry for the sloppy videoing. Whatever. I'll put the board back on it just in case it gets windy. Yep. I could either be sad that it's so bare or grateful for the low amount of work that I have to do. This is my blueberry bush, black raspberry bush, or blackberry bush actually, and then basil. Basil looks a little shiny from the neem oil, but it doesn't look like it's getting burnt, but that might not show for a couple of days still. Super bummed last night when I learned that literally right after. I was like, you know what, I should have thought about that before I did it. Researched it a little bit more to see if I needed to dilute it. I was just wanting to get it over with because I needed to get the little guy down for bed and all that. And lesson learned. Hopefully it's not too disastrous. About this many tomatoes ripening up at one time on my counter lately. It's like this one may have gotten too mushy. I think this is from stink bugs. Focus on you. So I've been trying to get to them. I'm putting them, I'll core them and score them once they're like this. Put them in the freezer. I'm trying to accumulate enough to make a canning batch size, but sometimes they get too gross before they turn red enough. This one's pretty big for my garden anyway. And I'm just realizing that it rained super hard last night, but none of the tomatoes look split, so that's good news. I'm not sure I showed these yet in the bigger pots. The ones in the big pots are the beefsteak tomatoes, and then one mint plant. And the ones in these smaller pots, which I've lost a few, I think it might be just too hot for them. I don't know what's going on. They're like getting cut at the base and then shriveling up, but that's okay. So it looks like something's eating that. Huh. What the heck? All right. I think I may have left the garage door open too long this morning. I've already been thinking that I was going to need to reseed this tray, and now I have that confirmed because it is so hot, even in the garage, that these things are just shriveling up right out, and they get leggy and then they shrivel up. See, you could see shriveled up right there. And that's going to happen to all these that are super leggy. I think I'm just going to let them die, wait a little while, and try again. I just think it's too hot. Yeah, like none of these look like they're doing good. Although the less work I have in the garden right now, probably the better. I need to not be outside so much in the heat. Though usually I get all my work done in the garden before it gets this hot. It's still a little disappointing. We're still learning. But it's just so hot that they can't handle it even if they're not getting direct sunlight. So I've got so many of those seeds though, I might just pull them out tonight, reseed it, and then try again until it works. Figure out the sweet spot. I had a friend that lives out here, she gardens too. She said that she plants all that stuff this time, right? So I was like, maybe it'll work for me. So at least now I know maybe she's got better soil than I do, and that's why it works for her. But I did not amend the soil anywhere in the garden besides the raised beds. And those places I've seen success, but most of the other places, everything has been struggling. Though I have been getting, I think, a good amount of tomatoes. I've got 12 tomato plants and I've been having like a fair bit, maybe like a pound or two ripening on the counter at a time. And that's been nice. It's nice to have fresh tomatoes. It's not all bad. It's more learning than fruit. But I guess that could be looked at as a form of fruit too. So we'll stay positive. Gonna keep gardening. Next year maybe it'll be easier carrying a baby around outside than on the inside. But thanks for walking through the garden with me and watching my garden tour. It always makes my mood a little bit better, even if I am showing you a bunch of things that have failed. So until next time, bye.